Namaskar and good evening. In this series of videos on Hindu reforms and Renaissance, this video is on Reformation and Renaissance of temples. Temples are actually the place where all Hindus congregate. Therefore, the place should be of such a great importance for uniting all the Hindus of the world. Actually, the idea should be to unite all the people of the world, not just the Hindus, to make all people of the world into Hindus. So Hinduism should become a world religion. For that reason only, this series is intended, and the practical utility of this series is only when all of you, or every listener, contributes in some way to make Hinduism a world religion. Whether you are an individual or a trustee of a temple or in any way associated with the temple administration, you must contribute to making the Hinduism into a world religion. Now, one of the first and most important reforms that I would like to suggest in Hinduism is that in every temple there should be prominent murtis of many gods. In a Shaiva temple, there should be images of the Lord Vishnu, Lord Dattatreya, and so like that, all prominent gods. Likewise, in prominent Vishnu temples, rather all Vishnu temples, there should be prominent images of Lord Shiva, Goddess Durga, and so on. So, it should look like a Hindu temple rather than a Vaishnava temple. Otherwise, what's happening is that Vaishnavism looks like a separate religion. Shaivism looks like a separate religion. That's not so. That is not correct. Actually, the great saints have said, Eko Devaha Kesaveva Sivova. So, God is one and the same, Kesaveva Sivova. If only they had heard of Yehovah, Allah, etc., they would have included those names also. Therefore, it is high time for us to recognize that God is one with the different names, different images, that's all. In fact, in Hinduism, the peculiarity or the speciality is every individual is allowed to make his own image of God and his own give his own name also. Every God has got at least 1,000 names. Sahasranama Stotram we make. So, we must recognize that all forms and all images ultimately belong to the same God, and you are entitled to worship the Lord in any form you like, with any name you like. So, to drive home that message, every temple must have the images of a number of prominent gods. That will drive the message into the hearts of people. When they visit all the images, they will naturally feel that God is one and the same. Like that. Now, to enable that further, to broad base the entry into temples, we can also have a board called like this. All human beings are permitted into this temple, subject to your following some reasonable restrictions applicable to all temples, like cleanliness. So, when a foreigner comes, you don't have to tell foreigners are not allowed. Still such boards are there. These are anachronisms. They are not required. See, everybody is allowed into the premises of God. That should be told also. The priest should know, the trustee should know, that everybody else connected with the temple should know that everybody born on this earth is allowed into a temple, subject to his following certain reasonable restrictions. He doesn't have to change his religion or nationality or something like that for that reason. Now, once, so this board should be there and everybody should be allowed. You can have different queues for males and females, that's a different thing. Now, Anu Bhadra Kartavoyantu Vishwataha says the Rigveda, which means that any great thought which comes to us, any great suggestion which comes to us from any side must be welcomed by all. One of the great suggestions which comes from some other religions also is that you can have great Gita messages with wonderful meanings inscribed on the temple walls. When somebody goes inside the temples and they read those messages, the impact of those messages should be such that divinity should enter into their hearts automatically. It is one way to keep the walls vacant, but it is another way to fill them with great messages which infuse divinity into all the people, to infuse equality among people, like that. Hinduism, one of the major drawbacks is we are a divided religion and with superiority, inferiority complex, etc. They will go if temples are made, the focal point for that. So there should be messages which show that all people are equal, God resides in all people, and we must look for God everywhere, in every image. Some other reforms have already come in some temples like Tirupati temple, etc. Annadanam. So every day there should be Annadanam for all people. It should not be limited. So this should come in various ashrams and mutts also. Every day there should be Annadanam for people who are coming there. That people should sit together and take and be thankful to the Lord. Then the idea is to say that we are all one. So a temple can also be a place where a person can say, I belong to so-and-so caste. Can change his caste. So maybe once in 10 years or something like that. A temple can, by merely declaring in a temple register, now subsequent formalities the temple should take care of. So sending it to a registrar or somebody, etc. can be taken by the temple. Some people who can come there, who can write there, by prostrating before this Lord, I adopt Hinduism, and by my own choice, I adopt this particular varna. Only 4 varnas. Let's not have 1,000 or 4,000 varnas which are available today, or castes. So, Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, only 4. And by taking any of them, you actually bind yourself to the service of the people and follow some minimum requirements of that particular varna. Now, one of the major, most important things in a temple is, apart from the Lord himself, the next most important person there is not the trustee but the priest. The priest must be taken care of, and the priest must take care of the people. Both are required. Priest must be taken care of by the temple or the people who are managing the temple, and priest must take care of the devotees who come there. He must recite a few great shlokas from Gita or any other great text and explain their meaning. And he should also exhort people to follow certain great practices. So, he can tell the individual bhaktas who have come, you see, you have come to this temple. The Lord wishes that you adopt at least the Annadanam for 1 or 2 people whenever you can. See, this is something you can, a priest can say. Again I repeat, Anu Bhadra Kartavo into Vishwasaha. We must infuse into our people great practices like this. Every day, please do some good deeds. The priest can say, you have come to this Lord, in the name of the Lord, do some good deeds. In the name of the Lord, do some Annadanam, some seva to the people who need it. Now the priests are definitely well behaved. As far as Hinduism is concerned, the priests are definitely much well behaved, except that they don't know what better things can be done. Now these are to be prescribed by the great acharyas, etc. By looking at other religions also, there is nothing wrong in getting great practices from other religions. So the priest must become the focal point to reform the Hinduism also. Reform the Hindus. Tell the Hindus that you must take care of your less fortunate brethren. You must do some Annadanam. You must help the education of people. So these are all things which, if it comes from the priest, generally the effect is more electrifying. That will go into the mind as if it has come from the Lord himself. So that sort of messages should be given by the priest. So temples can be changed, temples can be reformed, temples can be electrifying, temples can change the whole society. So I think all of you will agree with my suggestions. I request you to give more and more suggestions also. You see, the society will reform only at places like the temples. The temple priest may be a very common person with very less knowledge, whatever, but when something comes from him, it will have an electrifying effect on other people. So therefore, we must take care of the priest, and the priest must take care of the society. I solicit more and more suggestions from you. Let us reform Hinduism, let us make it the best religion in the world, or rather let us make it the most universal religion in the world, acceptable to all the people. Thank you for listening. I'll be back with you with another great video with advices, with suggestions for reformation of Hinduism. Thank you.